Hello everybody and welcome to another episode indeed. Okay, what happened last time, gang?
What happened is you failed to or did we actually copy it over? Did you copy it over?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
It's there. It's there.
Okay.
It says episode 24 when we're on episode 26.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
It is episode 24.
You straight up failed.
I straight up failed. I'm sorry, I failed everybody. It's episode 24 tonight.
Google Docs, it's all good.
But I have it written down as episode 26 as well.
It is 26 today.
Okay.
Bexxy has just not put 25th, the episode 25 summary into it.
Okay.
Oh!
It's still 2 behind though.
Yeah, 25 and 26 aren't there.
I'm so confused.
Isn't
I did
26
not put
today?
20. I will say I did not put 26 in because
26 is today, guys. 26
26 today.
I did not
Okay.
put
Summaries
25 in
up to
there.
24.
Okay.
So
Alright.
I'm like, which ones are we missing?
I might have messed up.
25. Numbers. How do they work?
Yeah.
I'm illiterate.
yeah.
I don't know what you're
Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
This is what I was talking about when I said my brain was mushed. I don't know anymore.
Anyway, what happened last time?
Fucking a lot. That's what happened.
We
It
made
was a
it to
journey.
like the pause point for our hike, and then experimented with prestidigitation for some soup water.
Chicken soup.
Fake
For the
soup.
soul.
And exhaustion continued to build up on everybody as we just continued hiking up through the mountains. And then when we reached the second major, it was the second hard climbing part,
Yeah.
we had Aaron do the tracking once again, and once again was another natural 20. And
You just be good at that.
just saving our lives casually, you know.
Yeah, I mean, those critical 20s, geez, guys. If not...
Them-
Literally life
Them
saving.
with some dice. Yep.
I mean, even with that, people still failed. Osprey.
Well, Titania did once as well, so...
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, but not nearly as bad.
Mhm.
Oscar really fucked up, and
Mhm.
we were. Favorite part was Acheron and Aaron at the top being like childish behavior. She was having like legitimate life-threatening fear at the bottom of the cliff after she fell off it.
Yeah. And
We were right though. It's true.
It is true, but Titania had a moment where she's like, fuck, I need to be a decent person, and offered help to Osprey, despite Osprey having
A tantrum. You can say
a
it.
tantrum. Yeah.
Mhm.
Whoa.
And the group, after some tense moments with everybody trying to climb up, Titania almost failing included, we made it to the top. Ta-da!
Woo!
Yep.
And then the shenanigans really started happening.
Okay, the worst day of Acheron's life, maybe. Maybe not the worst, but it's up there.
Yeah.
Really?
Bunch of mountaineering, but you mean from a cave
yeah.
perspective and
I
from a
think-
god perspective. But I think,
I think
there
being
was a...
stuck in a small cave in the middle of a life-threatening blizzard, and then suddenly the gods have a fist fight in the sky definitely ranks up there.
I mean, before that happened, though, we did have to go find some sort of overhang place to
Yeah.
camp, whilst Acheron needled Ginevra on about, hey, you didn't bring a tent. Who are you gonna sleep with? Ginevra's like, eto.
It's
No.
friendship.
So you want the
Vitalis, that's
Yeah.
Know your purity. What are you gonna do? Listen, it's called friendship. You should.
Yeah, it should.
Aaron was unbothered. It's survival after all. Though Ginevra was more, I guess, hesitant because she didn't want to overstep any boundaries after him making it very clear how he views her as a captor.
Which is
And
funny
so-
because like you could have just crossed all the boundaries and it would have been totally fine. In the sense of you are a captor, there are no boundaries technically for a captor.
She doesn't see herself as a captor. That's
I
why.
know, but that's the
You can
difference.
cross my boundaries anytime. A wink.
Oh, those shackles are too stiff. But it was more about surviving on the mountaintop, given Ginevra's terrible constitution.
Having
we
to put
all-
on lamps and everything just to keep her warm.
We all found our way to, but then we had some perception checks being rolled in very unsettling fashion in the middle of the night, to which Titania wakes up to the beginnings of a extremely severe blizzard and immediately starts rallying the group so we can get it moving.
There's more wind though, right? Not blizzard.
Yeah, it was like the wind and approaching storm.
It was.
I will say it
ice
was very
rain. Ice rain and wind.
personified.
Ice rain. Okay.
Ice rain and
So
wind.
I have to give Bexxy a lot of credit for how personified it was, because I just remember thinking, I was like, shit, it better not be. Because I don't know why, but I was like, if this is where a god shows up, I'm gonna die. Is like what I was thinking when you first mentioned it. I don't remember why. You said it was like wind, like shouting. And I was like,
No,
that's
I
a really
said-
specific.
I
don't know what
said
it
a
was, but-
thunder, like an angry god. A thunder.
There we
Yeah,
go.
Like an
remember
angry
that,
god.
yeah.
Yeah.
And all I could think of was like, that's
Angry
really
God,
specific.
Well, you also said that.
Because I specifically whispered to Bexxy, like, God as in divine, or God as in, like, you're using
Well,
descriptive language?
it was hinting towards something, but it was descriptive at that point.
Yeah. Then there was a bunch of scurrying around, like, get your shit together, guys.
Yep.
Managed to
And
find a little crawl space to get some cover and try and plug it up with Aaron's shield and some tents.
It was awful.
Yeah. Acheron had a bad time. And we
Nervous
all...
breakdown.
Trademark.
We all, continued to make use of prestidigitation, because apparently that was the magic
We
beam
learned
this
how
episode.
powerful Presti is. Yeah.
Dolito Presti.
Yeah.
Presti.
And used it to keep ourselves warm in the middle of a giant blizzard. And then, who wants to describe this part?
The fucking gods had a goddamn fight in the sky.
In the goddamn sky.
They were like, the gods were just like,
I'll
hey
tell you
bro, you wanna go? And it was like, abso-fucking-lutely. And they were just like having a little clash. It was just a little fight. Just a tiny one.
Yeah,
This is
happens
bad.
every day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it fucking might, what do we know? It was bad. It was a bad time. I think
It was
there
a
was
very dangerous time until Rion showed up, for sure.
Yep.
But
What?
the cloud arms reaching towards you, yeah.
Oh no, I didn't think about that part.
That was just for a fist bump.
Yeah.
Hey, it was a greeting. We're vibing.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
You're probably right.
So there was a couple of things that happened directly after that, with Titania getting a little bit over the top in scientific mode, and Acheron getting into like what the fuck mode. How dare you? Like,
Together
what the
beside
hell's
us.
going on? Yeah, exactly.
A lot of
There was like some denial, and there was like, this is like proof, and then Acheron's like, it's not fucking proof. You shut your whore mouth, but not really. But like.
I appreciate that this is the interpretation.
Yeah, I love this is the interpretation rather than Akron being like, I can't deal with this right now. No. You shut your whore mouth.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Yeah, same
it was a decision to like, where do we go? And Ginevra's like, I'm so tired, y'all.
Yeah, there's no way I am walking.
My poor feetsies.
No.
We're going
So-
back to the cave ups. Yeah.
We just went back to the previous camp and we're like, sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
danger's past.
And then in the morning there was a interesting conversation between Titania, Ginevra, and a little bit of an aside with Osprey talking about gods and church hierarchy, and Osprey having some ominous sentences in regards to Irene and the position of Solar Priest, and Titania being like, "What?" And Titania asked for Ginevra to be like, "Hey, so you have a position of status, would you mind at a later date offering your testimony for this so I can have this in my research?" And she was like, "Yes."
Absolutely.
And then everybody cried.
Yeah.
Things got sad.
We got into a bit of an argument.
You got to the Bob Ross painting?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very pretty little place.
A highland plateau lake.
Seemed much more peaceful than our previous camp.
Yeah, and once Aaron was off gathering firewood, I think,
Yeah.
Acheron pounced with her tears.
Pounced with her tears?
Yeah.
Wow.
My
Yeah,
most
and that was-
lethal weapon.
It was this outburst of misappropriated aggression, I suppose, in a sense, that Acheron was blaming Aaron for a lot of things that he was like, what the hell are you talking about?
Agron like really conflated Aaron with the new
Angels,
knowledge
yeah.
of the potential existence of Rian and what that means growing up.
And why didn't Aaron talk more earlier on, informing them this is what it was like? And then Aaron was like, yeah, I don't.
And not my
my
circus,
responsibility,
not my
yeah.
monkeys.
I don't get paid for this shit. And then there was the argument because it meant more to Acheron than it originally was obviously known, where Acheron stated certain historical things, including that they used to be very devout or brought up very religious, but they gave up because no angels came to save them or their family. And given Aaron is basically the embodiment of that failure, in a sense, it all came out on poor little Aaron.
You also did draw a sword on and your wings on me before that, so like there was a little bit of symbolism.
Well, true.
And
When you challenged that that Aaron failed the person or the owner of the hair clip that Titania
We
now
got
is
that
in
story.
possession with, and then you got a little bit of that story, yeah.
yeah,
Talking about his lost love that was killed amongst the gods that were fighting, and to him, she was the last person that he considered to be worthy of being saved, and after that, well,
we
things
kind of made,
changed.
yeah. And we kind of ended it by making a promise to support each other in what we want. Aaron offering to try to teach Acheron about the world and how it actually functions, and Acheron vowing to be there for Aaron until he can find a home.
Very wholesome ending. Like, y'all are too good. Can't keep doing this to me.
This is just,
Meanwhile,
she never becomes a mermaid.
I complete
like-
my transformation.
will there be tentacles?
Oh.
Speak for
Magical
yourself.
girl
Aaron.
time.
No.
It was very beautiful, the imagery that Bexxy conjured
It was.
in that scene.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you're talking to a god right now. Whoa.
Yeah. I walked on a bridge of moonlight upon the water and was pulled inside, surrounded by little glowing stars almost. seemed like. Finding myself comfortably suspended and able to breathe in the murky depths before being approached, if you could call it that. I have to find an appropriate word for what happened. As the goddess, I guess, La Puana, appears, and they have a brief conversation. Yeah. This is how you could waste my time. It's like, okay. And she gave me 3 questions to ask of her. And otherwise, we need to talk about the opportunity that's been created by Terry and the boring geezer being distracted.
Yes.
As she calls.
I've gone back to that moment a few times just to look at your expressions as I said that. I love it. I love it. When it dawned upon you when I was talking about it. So good. Anyway, thank you so much. Let's get into it, huh? What do I have? Did it escape?
Do the thing, Bexxy.
I'm trying.
Do it.
It has escaped me.
Do the roar.
Trying to find it. Here it is. Under the sea.
Little Mermaid soundtrack play.
I mean, Disney music is the only possible thing that could fit here.
The only valid option.
Okay.
I can only see white.
Huh?
I can only see white on the
Same
thing.
here.
Oh, I can see it. You might need to update. That's
Yeah.
why I was saying I had technical difficulties earlier because I was updating.
Oh god.
I'll just reload and see what happens.
I'll try refreshing them.
Yeah. Okay. And I will start. Unfathomable. There we go. Moment. Suspended. Floating. Visiting this liminal space. Conversing with the cornerstone of the world. An ancient constant. A deity. Yet, it happens. After a lifetime of being an unattainable ghost for Ginevra, still felt, but never tangible. Here we are. An audience of titanic proportions. An occurrence as rare as the death of a star. And as the Ennead, the sea goddess of beginnings and the devil's child, Lapuana regards Ginevra with curious smugness, knowing that Ginevra would accept any term the goddess presented. We shall dive right back in to that enchanting moment. 3 questions, 3 answers. Be wise and be quick. Then my prize, and no buts!
All right. The first I would ask is, when you saw me, you said, took you long enough, and are you really it? As if you were expecting me. What did you mean by that? Am I really what?
There's crazy laughter that reverberates through the water to you. As she grips her stomach and she laughs unabashedly. She pretend wipes away fake tears. And when the convulsing stops, and with a tone full of nerves, she says, "Of course, you and my other followers wouldn't be stupid enough to miss this kind of opportunity. Derry is doing something we can exploit. I knew one of you would enter into the shadow of the hole, so I could finally talk to you guys. It's been forever! Can't even begin to fathom how tiresome it all is. To fill some of you with my power despite this fiery wall in my way. And with that fun I have to wrestle with Mr. Rules Guy to achieve. But that should be a little bit easier now, at least. Let's use this potential, shall we?" And she claps in a celebratory manner in front of her chest.
Well, that just added a whole load more questions, but I guess that'll have to do. I'll trust that you'll give me everything else I need. So, another question. How much direct influence do you currently have on this plane of existence? Like, can you destroy armies of boats on the sea, or
Her
just like change the direction of the stream?
expression turns insulted, her face flooding with the telltale signs of disbelief. "You question my power, mortal! I am the sea, the tide, I am untold potential, growth and possibility, I prophecy! Without me, you would have been dead!" "How powerful are you?" she asks. "How powerful are she asks. "I could drown this world in tsunamis, prevent adulthood from blossoming. I could give you the worst fucking luck in your existence, the kind of bad luck that you wish that you would be dead, so you stop hurting yourself and those around you. That is how I am. That is who I am."
And that's what you can do right now? Or what you could do if you take this opportunity? That's all I ask. I have no doubt of how powerful you are. I just mean how much influence you have now. I've been looking for you for a long time, and I haven't been able to find you until now, so just wondering what are the limits as the current state of things are for you.
At the end of her tirade, that she kind of pushed up to you again with her face super close. At your second explanatory point of your question, she leans back and her arms crossed with a very sullen look. "It's not my fault that the grandpas made things so damn complicated, alright? With a blinding wall of light and fire. Besides, doing stuff is tiresome. I won't do anything that is not worth my time or the effort. And you gotta... Well, the other ones... They like finding opportunities like I do, so... It gotta be worth the risk, and the time, and the power. So you, right, my little starfish, you're extremely lucky. Talking with me right now. So I will see this insult as ignorance this time. But I can reverse your luck in a flash.
I have no doubt. I simply just wanted to know how much support I can count on from you as I go forward to do your
If it's
bidding.
worth my time and the risk, I will certainly push.
Okay,
And my things
thank
might
you.
get a little bit easier in the future, at least here. Alright,
And
question number 3.
final question. What can you tell me about the artifact in the Ravenmoor's possession, including its capabilities and what it's being used for now?
The Ineod immediately claps her hands rapidly and excitedly in front of her chest. Water gets violently displaced, and once you can feel the push and the pull crash against your body in confusing worlds of unseen waves, you remain safely in your place, anchored in front of this avatar's face. Ooh, funny you should ask. It has something to do with my part of the bargain. Well, you see, the excitement immediately twists to a little bit of frustration. Wait, it's not really funny, is it? Not funny at all. It's actually rather aggravating. I can't sense... What? You should really find... Her mood instantly shifts again, turning scatterbrained, trying to chase down a thought in her own consciousness. And then, seems like she goes comatose. Her head lulling, her avatar's light dimming, her shining whirlpool for eyes turns to just blackness, an empty void. Then a jolt goes through her. The shining whirlpool spins once more, and a Sherlock animation resumes as she waves her hand dismissively. Nah, that was just boring. That's it. Now my price.
What? But you didn't answer my question. What happened there?
She leads in, half excitement, half seriousness. Okay, listen close, little one. Terry has somehow managed to perhaps plot a gate into action with those two talented human souls he's been able to claim. I have no idea how. Which making me mad as hell. There's a violent outburst of a hand sweeping dangerously close to you in a fiery exclamation as the entity clearly pouts in frustration. But then, as capricious as the ocean, she recovers. Either way, my guide is telling me that this gate might not have a fixed location. That is where you come in, my little starfish. Make it happen! Go to the castle. Make sure it activates. Then trick them at the end. Turn it to me. Choose me! The excited smile is back, but it quickly turns to a sour look. Though, if you're not tricksy enough, or strong enough, or whatever, I would be okay with the gate opening to Terry. I mean, I hate to see that happening, but better that to eat away on the oh so boring monopoly of the sun Ford has. Okay, got it?
Got it. Go to castle, activate the artifact, pick you come through.
Yes!
Okay. Otherwise, open it for someone and then you can try and come through.
The massive head whips to a random spot in the ocean, and a heavy frown mars her impossible beauty. Oh, too late, little one. Good luck! Her laughter echoes, fills your head to the brim as she pushes both of her hands towards you, a massive current following her motions, and the light, the warm waters, is all but ripped from you in blinding speed. It turns cold, it turns dark. And then, you take a violent gasp of air as you bounce out of the frigid waters, the moon still watching you as you shiver in the night air. And to the east, a distant sound of a thunder crack, quite menacingly.
Oh.
Nice evening for a swim.
Titania's on the shore looking at you like, are you okay?
Yeah. It's good for you. Ice water.
I feel
Shocks
like
the
you
system.
can, given your stature, I feel like you held your breath for way longer than your, you know what, I'm not gonna.
You know where I grew up, right?
Fair point. Anyway, bad weather's on the way. Probably not the best time for ice water swim. Let's get you back to camp and get you warm. Do you need like a here? I'll grab my blanket. And Titania like gets like one around you and takes you back to camp.
Yeah, she is shaking. Did you say that they said that because I couldn't quite pick up the words. Did you say the divine gate might have a specific location, or might not have a specific location, or divine something else?
It's her gut feeling that it might not have a specific location attached to it. So make it
And
happen.
that's the divine
and the trick
gate.
them.
Is that what she said?
She thinks that Terry might have a gate into action, spawned into action.
What? Sorry, like an army?
No. Like, I mean, a gate spell is pretty massive.
Like a portal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
As like okay, divine. Yeah, like a gate spell. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Might not have a specific location. Okay.
That was a lot. Anyway, out in the forest, gathering wood, is a Acheron and an Aaron. And I do think that through the rather sparse wood, you did see Ginevra disappear underneath the water and then come back. Is there anything you wanna talk about or continue from your conversation, or just return back to camp?
If we can see Titania there.
You could see her come towards the shore, and then eventually, like, Ginevra was underneath the waters for perhaps 1 minute 30 seconds at maximum.
Oh, that's
Not that bad.
it's easy. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily
I don't
feel
know if
worried.
Acheron would
didn't think
think
of
that
that,
would
was it?
be weird. I mean, I would imagine Acheron is trained to hold their breath for quite a while, so wouldn't probably think it was odd.
Minute and a half is not difficult to do. So
No.
if Titania is there, you know, I wouldn't necessarily think that Aaron would, well, firstly, not really care that much, but the fact that Titania is there, it means that as long as Ginevra comes back, you know, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Ginevra doesn't look like she's drowned, does she?
She shivers.
she
a
just-
little bit.
Yeah, she's like shaking. She's shivering, but it's not. You know, she doesn't look like. She's just cold.
I mean, yeah.
You're used to that.
Yeah, so.
But she doesn't usually
probably
shiver.
not. I guess Acheron might take the time to ask Aaron some questions about the gods.
Sure.
If Aaron seems willing to. So Acheron asks,
Well, if you're just like picking up more firewood, it's like
Yeah.
look over and say, I don't understand why. We're meant to be trying to survive here and go swimming in ice cold waters.
you know, I don't really think that she's. I don't know. Ginevra likes swimming, I think. If I remember correctly from our friendship before. I'm not sure. She seems rather ruled by emotion, so. Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe she swallowed herself.
I mean, fair. She's fine. She'll be fine. She's kind of weird, though. I mean, look who's talking, but she's never exactly been normal.
I have not very fun feelings towards her. What with being a part of the church and being complicit with this. And I know she's trying to play both sides, but it doesn't seem like that to me. Still thinks she's with them.
Yeah? My feelings on Ginevra are complicated.
I try
So
not to think
feelings.
about it that much.
Same. If it makes you feel better. Actually, down to the wire, I'm not sure who she would choose between us or the church.
That is my concern too. Unless proven different, I will treat her as if she is part of the church. I have not seen anything that changes my mind about that.
No.
She is not wanting to put one foot out of place. To me, that means complicit.
Yeah. We're relatively on the same page then.
I suppose we are. You doing okay? I mean, you seemed like a few minutes ago you were a little bit overwhelmed. It's not like I can do anything about what you went through, but
That's a good question. I mean, I shouldn't have lost my cool like that, but now that I have,
like, I don't have to tell Titania. I don't have to tell Ginevra. It can be our secret until you're ready to tell them.
Thank you. Well, when you spend a majority of your life not believing in anything like this and spending your entire formative years, learning the world is one way. I guess the further this job goes, the more lost I feel about everything. I haven't felt like I've understood the world since I've left the church. And now, it just feels like I'm losing ground. Nothing really seems to make sense anymore. In any way.
That's what happens, though. When you join this organization, and then they fill your mind with absurdities just to further their agenda. Welcome to the real world, Acheron.
Well, it was kind of that, or I don't know if die is the right thing that would have happened, but it's not a choice I'm proud of, I suppose. In hindsight, I'd like to say I'd choose to just die instead, but I don't know.
Your anger doesn't have to be diminished by this. I too am not fond of, well, the gods. For my own reasons, and despite your aggression and denial of them, the root feeling that you have is somewhat similar to mine, albeit approached from two different perspectives. The gods themselves, they have their own agenda. We're just pawns.
Sounds like what I'd assume was the truth. All of them, or how many are there?
Well, I don't know exactly, but from what Titania said back in the carriage about having 7 devils plus Rion, if the devils mean gods, a total of 8 gods remain, according to whatever understanding. 7 gods. 6. Sorry. 7. According to whatever understanding the Church of Rion has attributed to them. I don't know what names they gave them. I know them in different names, but I'm starting to feel, at least based on who they are, possibility, but there were a lot. And
Okay.
something for you to dwell on, Acheron. It was known back in my time that the gods tend to congregate amongst themselves, those who had similar interests, ambitions, and feelings. But should a god fall to that of another god, it's not always oblivion. It's not like a certainty that the immense power that God had just disperses into the world or the surrounding galaxies. I don't know exactly how it works, but back when I was fighting, I learned that it is possible for a god to absorb another.
That sounds fucking terrifying. I think that's even worse, actually.
So my current thinking is that if there are 7 remaining, whilst some might have been killed outright and their energies scattered, I'm fairly certain some may have been amalgamated, and when that happens, gods get stronger.
Lovely. That's wonderful for us. Is that what that fight was about?
I have no idea. Gods like to, like I say, do godlike things. They don't care about mortals below. Well,
They're
to a
not
certain degree, they do, because God's powers are only really defined by those that worship them. Nobody worships them. Then they just fizzle out.
They're not like actually omniscient, are they? Like they don't like watch your thoughts or able to spy on you whenever they want. Right.
I can't give you an answer to that, Acheron. My deity, at least when I was connected to her, I felt like I had a connection that she could be spoken to no matter where I was, but again, I was not here. I don't know how it works here. Maybe Titania does.
Question, Bexxy.
Yes.
The whole fiery barrier separating the devils from the world is common knowledge? Or common myth?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
part of the creation story of the Empire and part of Genos' story
Okay.
that the Wall of Fire was created from Rion to protect the world from the influence of the devils. But if human hearts are weak, then they shall be invited still. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, I mean, did the fiery barrier exist when you were around?
The what?
Or I would have said it's all bullshit, but seeing as the gods are real, maybe this is too. Supposedly, the whole story of Gianor and just the creation of the Empire, blah blah, chapters, verses, and weird songs. A fiery wall was made that keeps the devils separate, stops them from getting in, unless you are weak of heart, in which case it invites them in, blah blah. But I think if a giant wall of fire actually... I mean, I would like to say that it's all bullshit, but Akron gestures at the sky.
Aaron looks at the sky.
Like, there's nothing in the sky, but Akron's just like making a vague gesture towards the last place we saw the gods.
I. Are you okay?
No, I'm not okay. Gods are real, and who the fuck knows what else is? And we are held captive by a church that, if Rion actually is real, then either he's actually signed off on, or he's an incompetent, powerless idiot, and I'm fucking terrified.
No offense, Acheron, but you're kind of new to this whole thing. If you're
You
trying
don't
to
say.
tell me about gods, but who would be the best person to explain whatever that thing is that you just said?
I don't explain it. It's a giant fiery ball thing that keeps. Just go
Gonna
talk
need
to
more
Titania.
nouns here.
Go talk to Titania or Ginevra, probably.
Right.
Look, I'm not gonna pretend to be more useful than I am. I'm not the heart or the head or the soul. I function best as hands, so.
Everyone needs hands. But
Sorry, I
point
can't
taken.
help explain more. I don't honestly understand a lot of it myself because until this point I thought it was bullshit.
Well, if you need more reassurance that your bullshit was not bullshit, you know where I'll be. But this fiery berry you said?
Alright, yeah. It's
Uh,
a primary story in the creation myth of the Radiance again, or
can you see it?
can we see it, Bexxy?
No, you've never seen it.
Oh. Edgar kind of gives a shrug. If we can, I can't, or never have, but
So you're
then
just
again,
taking it on faith that this thing exists.
I mean, I would love to believe that it doesn't exist, but I almost got smited today, or yesterday, or look, I don't even know what's real anymore. This is a primary story involved in the same religion of a god I just fucking witnessed. Maybe it's real, maybe it's bullshit. I have no fucking clue at this point, but if you're saying that you had a connection with the gods and something must feel different,
It does.
maybe it's not as fake as we hope. Maybe that's why.
There was no. If it does exist, if you can see it, I'm certain in the 20 years I was on this rock, I never saw one.
Maybe it's not something you perceive. I mean, magic isn't always visible.
It's hard for me, Acheron, being here in Frostmark. Everything seems to have been twisted up in myth or rumor. Why can't you just all agree on something? Just anyway.
Because humans are fucking complicated.
You're right.
Though, Titania was spending a lot of time in East Creek, or at least wanting to. I remember she would talk about going there to try to get a different perspective on the gods and their place in this world, because she believed that perhaps the people there might know more, having been less touched by the Rionish faith.
When I was with her, I don't think we actually encountered anything remotely touching on this, but I'll check in with her.
I mean, we talked about visiting one of the tribes there maybe one day to ask them about what they believed, because it was so different. You know, one of the ones that hadn't been taken over yet. Maybe the truth isn't with either group, but somewhere in between. If truth even fucking exists in this place anymore.
A truth does, but I don't think it's the truth that you know. I'm just trying to piece together whatever the fuck happened whilst I was elsewhere.
like I said, I'm with you until whenever. I'll do my best to help, but
You can help by carrying this, and he like dumps some firewood in their arms.
Okay.
yeah, I think Agron accepts it with a bit of a smile. It's nice that they're not fighting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Back at the camp, we had Titania trying to keep Ginevra warm. I assume that you were carrying or like leading her towards the fire and letting her sit down.
Yes, that was the plan.
Ginevra, do you keep yourself tight-lipped? Or you say anything?
She doesn't question anything. Like, she just thought you were doing something weird. Like we said.
Yep.
Go-
Miron gives you like a nod, like a questioning nod, like you're okay, right? Kind of nod.
She gives him a smile and a nod.
He looks away. All right, you warm up by the fire. Eat something, drink a little bit, and eventually, Acheron dumps a whole pile of firewood on the ground beside the fire, and you approach that circle of warmth and light. Currently, you got Ali and Silas conversing with each other on the other log on the other side of the fire, whilst Medea, Meulen, and Dennis is out of view.
And Osprey?
Oh yeah, and Osprey too. And Osprey is out of view.
How late is it?
It's beyond dinner time. Oh god, I hear myself.
What are they doing?
You got those like 2-3 hours after dinner time, which is leisure time, where you can just do whatever you want. But you should probably go to bed in an hour or two.
Tanya appears very lost in thought, sitting there around the fire. Like she's trying to... She looks like she's processing something, but she's kind of, instead of doing her normal furious writing, she just kind of has pen poised over page and is just thinking.
Okay.
And then if that's fine, I mean, Aaron can go approach Titania, or just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
sitting there with fire burning amongst around us at the campfire. He'll do it with within the circle, so everyone else is there. Just,
Yeah.
Titania.
Oh, hi, yeah. Excuse me.
I'm not disturbing you, am I?
No, honestly, closes the book. I just am a little distracted. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, well, you have just cause to be distracted, I suppose. We've been through a lot over the past day.
The last 24 hours have given me reason to completely rethink a lot of things, and I'm not even sure where to begin.
That sounds tough for you.
It's an exciting prospect, but also it is certainly difficult.
Well, I have a question for you, if it's not too much of a stress for you. It's related to your history.
Sure, yeah.
So, whilst I was gathering firewood, I had a conversation with Acheron, and they told me about this thing that I have not heard of before, called a fiery barrier.
Oh, yes.
They weren't exactly knowledgeable about certain details. I was wondering if you could provide me with a little bit more context on this thing, if you know about it?
Sure, yeah. What sort of details are you interested in?
What the fuck is it?
Fair point. Well, from my experience, the citations for the fiery barrier, as it is often called, the translations differ over history. Fire barrier is the easiest way to put it. That's how it's just usually visually described. Is from the Radiance of Gainor and was part of the initial myth of the founding of the Empire. It was after Rion and his servants expunged the devils from Frostmark.
Okay, wait, hold on. I don't want scripture. Now is the time for your scientific mind to actually give me a little bit more. I don't need a preacher.
So here's the thing. And this is the unfortunate part about doing this sort of research, is that the foundational myths are all based in scripture, and so that is all of it is up for questioning. It's just there, and that is what we have to go off of. The fire barrier is only referred to under a religious context. There are unfortunately no physical scholarly examples of what it is or what it does. Some people theorize that the stars in the sky are the workings of the fire barrier, though plenty of religions and cultures all over and superstitions all have different explanations for what the stars are and what they do. Do
you believe that?
To believe something, for me, for the most part, requires me having either reliable citations for it, or having physical empirical evidence, or having seen it with my own eyes. Fire barrier unfortunately has none of these three, though given points up at the sky, the gods, I don't even know what to believe anymore. So I think it is worth considering its existence.
Then maybe scripture it has to be. Are there any specific things about it from a scripture? Like, is it a protective thing? Is it an insulative thing? I never experienced whatever it is that this thing is meant to reference, and I'm trying to put together whether or not there was something but called differently, or
interesting. All right, if you'll allow me to finish my explanation, then hopefully that can give you some context. After the devils were expunged from Frostmark, it is said that Rion put up a barrier of some kind to prevent them from interfering with the world of Frostmark, putting just essentially a wall to put any influence of other deific entities between him and his realm and them. Just so it supposedly severed the connection that the people had with those other entities, instead leaving them with only Rion, who in the scripture context this is described as righteous, yada yada, but of course thinking about it from like a cultural perspective, universal morality and all of that is not really a thing, depends on the culture you're from, so we don't actually know what the morality of those other deific entities are. They're just described as demons, devils in the scripture. But yes, it was about severing a connection between deities or deific entities and their followers, essentially.
So you're saying that a god made something to disconnect their followers to whatever devil or deity they were following?
From my readings, it always seemed as like a gesture of imperialism, when you're founding an empire, you want you to be the one unifying culture, not to have anything else within it. And so, of course, this is looking at it as Rion as a metaphor, but I don't know if Rion's a metaphor anymore. Rian essentially said, "You're not allowed. You not only are you like not morally allowed, now you physically cannot follow these other entities because I put a barrier between you, the people, and these other entities." As an effort to make it so he got more followers, presumably, because again, efforts of imperialism. You want one unified order.
I'm conflicted by that piece of information, Titania. I don't know how to take it, except for, on one hand, it looked like another god was in the sky last night, other than Rian. And two, if you're suggesting that something has been created that could have potentially cut me off from my deity, Thank you.
It's a potentiality. And but also the thing that we saw in the sky last night was there with what was presumably Rihan, and so that means, is it like, again, we're operating under the presumption that the fiery barrier as it is described in scripture exists. That is a presumption that we must be operating under for this theory to even have any pretense. Is it, maybe it's a fully spiritual thing, but they can manifest physically? And
Should I like get up and leave Titania to like her side? So like in this moment, like he will look around to see what agents are nearby or watching.
Silas and Ali broke up their conversation like into snippets, as they're like keep like half an ear towards you're talking about, going like, what are they talking about? Wow. Yeah.
Can I go over to Silas?
Yeah.
As I like
sure.
leave Titania, I'll go over to Silas.
I'm stealing Aaron's spot once he gets up.
Sure.
And I'll just like stomp over to him, like very purposeful.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've ever asked what weapon he has. Does he have like a melee weapon?
He's a bow.
No, just from like a melee weapon
crossbow.
perspective.
A crossbow. He has.
He doesn't have a melee weapon?
He has knives.
He is a melee weapon.
Well, he has one, but it's underneath his belt.
It's like a little tiny knife.
shut.
Does no one
Teeny
have an
weeny
actual
little knife.
melee weapon except for like tiny
Because
pokey knives?
Tiny pokey knives is what he got in the crossbow.
I don't care about the size of his pokey knife. I want a big thing. I want a big weapon, but no one here has a big weapon.
You're gonna have to get your own.
Well, the biggest is the rapier.
You get a big log.
Okay. I'm gonna have to do this with like a He'll look around for like a club, like a big old stick.
What the fuck are you doing?
Okay, give me a perception
Just throw a bunch of
intelligence.
firewood.
Yeah.
Osprey has a rapier. Yeah.
No, it's fine. I mean, it'd be better with a blade, but I think I can't.
Ruining my
God.
tantrum.
What is
No one
going
has a
on?
weapon. Okay. I have a purpose. So,
What are you
so
doing?
perception intelligence. Perception intelligence. Okay.
Yeah, you're actively looking, so.
Yeah.
Well, it take you a little while, but you do find something akin to.
Okay, well, if it takes me a while, someone else can have a conversation in the meantime, and then you can come back to me.
Okay.
Okay.
I can
Yeah, jump in.
talk to.
Do it.
Yeah.
Hello, it's me. Hi.
I gotta talk to. I've talked to both of you, but I think I gotta talk to Ginevra first because I can always be honorable.
We can have a three-way conversation too if you need.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I want to look at Ginevra, who's like fucking wet, and be like, just like,
like
give
it.
like a very obvious like. Well, obviously, but do you?
She gives you wiggles her eyebrows.
Oh, I mean, we can hit on each other instead of me asking why you jumped into a freezing lake. I'm totally fine with that. Is that what this is? An invitation?
No. You wish it was, but no. It's just release. It's been tense, and
Jumping into a freezing lake was gonna help that?
yeah, it takes your mind off of things. You suddenly
Yeah, by
can't focus on
giving-
much else.
Yeah. by
Anyway,
giving
you know me. I'm always
hypothermia.
cold. Doesn't feel that much
Are
different.
you always hypothermic?
I'm not hypothermic now. Just a bit shaky. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. How are you?
Well, the gods are real, so I guess you
Yeah.
owe me and I told you so.
No. I think I'll say that. Seriously though, how are you doing?
About as well as I can, given my entire world is kind of fallen apart. Unless you're asking about the cave, in which case... I'm fine. Not a fan of small spaces.
I remember that.
How are you doing? Must be nice to know you're right.
I don't know. I don't think of it in that way. I don't know. It's a lot. It's nice to have something a bit more concrete amongst all of this uncertainty about what's going on across the other side. To have witnessed the goings on. It's terrifying, but at least I don't feel like I'm chasing a whisper.
You're chasing a monster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gakron looks a
kinda
little
exciting.
surprised at that admission. My fucking god, you too. Gakron just looks between the two of them, just like giving them both a look. You know, usually when there's a terrifying, monstrous, all-powerful thing that could murder you with a look, you don't follow it. Physically or otherwise.
Well,
Actually, I think that's what most people do.
Most people are stupid then.
the things that it's just like this
I'll
is
get over to you, sister. Silas.
this is it's I mean, it's practically everything I've been looking for. Understanding. See, for so much of the time, it was always understanding spirituality in relationship to culture as a purely cultural thing, though there was always an inkling in the back of my mind because of the magic that this was what they had claimed was evidence of their god existing. What did that mean? And now it's like, oh, I've seen it with my own eyes, and it's not just something that they claim is related. It is essentially the closest thing I'm gonna get, even though we don't really know, though it kind of feels like we know, not gonna lie. Like,
No,
I
what?
have no other way to explain that other than maybe some extremely powerful magic that is non-deific. But this, I don't see why I wouldn't chase after this. This is knowledge that you couldn't find anywhere else, you know?
This is something meaningful. This is something important.
It is terrifying. I do get
It
that
should
part.
speak volumes that I have the most self-preservation out of all of us here.
What's the point of preserving life if you're not really living? Don't you feel alive doing this?
I don't know if I've ever really felt alive.
Maybe it's because you've always focused on preserving it rather than chasing the feeling.
If I may interject, this is part of the long-term project of preserving and improving lives. So,
Oh
I
my
mean,
god. Yeah, we cannot fight a god.
it doesn't need to be fighting.
Oh, I'm sorry, are you gonna
entity.
debate Rion into submission?
You can understand.
Well,
You
if
can learn.
before conflict even happens, we need to understand if we even are in conflict. We don't actually know the motives of a deific creature. We just know the motives of a church which claims to follow him.
Yes, and either Rion
They're
is
they're already hypocritical within their own doctrine. So what do we have to go on? We need to actually seek out the truth first and foremost, and then make our decisions. With that
Rion
knowledge
is
in
either
hand.
sadistic, naive, or powerless.
Yes.
None of those are good options for you.
Well,
Truth is, this changes everything and changes nothing at the same time. If Rion's been real this whole time, then either he's on board with what's been happening and he's cruel, or he knows what's happening and has no power to stop it, in which he's a powerless fool, or he doesn't know what's happening, in which case he's apathetic.
but it's still a source of information. Could ask questions. Try
And also, what changes everything is that it's not just Rion we're seeing, it's something else.
Yeah, that too. That's also a good point. Though I understand what you're saying, Akron, because those were like my exact theories.
Maybe
in
this
layman's terms.
something else is the thing we should be backing.
I'm not backing anything. I just want to learn.
You don't always have to pick a side. Sometimes you just want to gather the facts.
Come on, Akron, you know me.
You're gonna get yourself killed.
We all die one day. Might as well be exciting.
I mean, I feel like we're gonna get killed regardless, so might as well keep pursuing this, right?
I don't understand how you guys could be so calm about this.
I'm surprised that you're not. I thought you were
I just saw a
at
fucking...
ease, at peace with the idea of death a long time ago.
Ugh, it's not death that scares me.
Because the arguments you bring up are about these powerful things that can kill you super easily, and not going towards things because of self-preservation. You bring up all your arguments about the fear of death.
There are much worse things than death out there, and despite being used to it, I'm not very fond of pain, contrary to popular belief. Something like that, I imagine death is the nicest thing that will come out of it.
It's a very fatalistic way to approach that. There's so many things that could come out of this.
Taking into account the radius of Aenor and the way the church speaks about Rion from the side of it that I reside in, yeah, it is fatalistic, but it's also accurate, at least to the mythos I know of Rion, because for a long time, I was the worst part of what could happen to you under Rion's power. And if he's going to be doing that kind of stuff himself, well, I imagine he's going to do a better job than I did.
So you're scared that he's going to start smiting people?
If hell is real, what makes you think it's not mobile? It doesn't have to be a place. It can be a state. Gods, theoretically control some part of reality. And if they're real, what else is real? Death is one thing, and eternity of torture is another.
I
There's all
am
that uncertainty.
I'm currently of the opinion that if Rion wanted us dead, for whatever reason, given what we just saw, we'd already be dead. I mean, it's... Unfortunately, we are seemingly powerless, but within that state of powerlessness, we do have the capability to learn. And knowledge is power. Once we can learn about the state of the world in which we're living, then we can understand how to control our situation better. And if that means fucking off to the middle of nowhere because it's a hopeless situation, we just want to live our life in peace, fair enough. If that means pursuing whatever road we see is best for the people at large, that's what I'm trying to do, then that means we're gonna do that. Regardless, we can't really we can't make wise decisions without continuing to pursue this road. I get the fear, Acheron. I totally do. And she'll put an arm around Acheron, like a kind of a little tight hug. But we gotta keep going, you know?
If these terrible things are gonna happen, they're gonna happen whether we want to or not. There's no point doing nothing out of fear. You just have to keep moving and do what you set out to do. If it's gonna happen, then it happens, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's no point wasting your life waiting for it.
We clearly just have diverging philosophies that are never going to be aligned, so I'm just going to concede this argument in the interest of time. However, I will just state for the record, I never chose to be here. That one, points at Titania, has dragged me into this, and I follow
have a
her
choice.
everywhere.
Yeah, Acheron, what is
Again, or
it?
to you,
Stop
sister.
believing. What is he saying?
Basically, amen.
You chose to be with Titania. She never forced you to do anything.
No, you're
You
right,
wanted
I
to
did
be
choose
with
to
her.
with Titania.
You chose to be here. You
Well, it's
continue
not like
to
I have
choose
a
to be here
choice.
with her.
I do not continue to choose to be here. I am a fucking prisoner, and don't forget it because you're on their side.
You could choose to leave if you wanted to.
I have to admit they
Hey,
are right
Silas,
about that
could I
one.
choose to leave if I wanted to?
By dying, yeah.
You can certainly choose to leave. You still face consequences of any choice. But you always have a
Glad
choice.
that you're so okay with my death. Thank you, Tenebra. It's really touching to hear your concern over the fact that I'd be murdered for making a choice.
The point still stands. You choose to be here. No one forces you to be here. You choose because you know the consequences of the choice. If you start telling yourself that you're doing things not because you want to, not because you choose to, you're telling yourself a lie, and that never ends well.
And I feel like we'd be losing a lot of opportunities, but if this path to seeking knowledge is the two of us going to hell together, I don't know. Why not, right? Existence keeps going, I guess.
Acheron just
That'll make
stares
sense,
into the fire, kind of thinking about the place that they've landed themselves now at this point. The lunatics they're surrounded by.
Yeah, and in the
He
background
looks
you
up at
can
Ginevra
hear...
and says, you know, the afterlife is an interesting prospect for, like, research, but then also that I feel like it's pretty irreversible, you know? Except, well, Medea, no, wait.
Yeah, I mean...
We have learned that it's not irreversible, so that needs to be a valid avenue of study. That conversation continues as we shift to the scene.
frantically takes up his discussion with Ali how to redeem himself quickly. After seeing Rian is real, he needs to end up in paradise. There's a pointed background for your conversation.
What's Aaron doing with the stick?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what is Sarah doing with the stick? I want to know. What is it doing with the stick?
tell you what I'm doing with the stick.
Where are you poking it at?
Well, okay, so in the time that they're having this conversation, you find a stick. I need to know the time of day first.
Well...
Is it like dusk or is it nighttime? Is it...
It's beyond dusk. You should probably go to bed in an hour's time.
You're not my
now.
mom.
Oh, wow. But Miran is, and he's gonna order you.
Okay. Okay, so it's a question of visibility then. If it's at night, I mean, it's not a consideration for Aaron. It's more about if people can see him or not, I suppose. He can be away from the campfire if necessary.
Yeah, well, in the campfire's light, and considering like the agents and how they can be sneaky about how they keep watch, I would recommend going into the darkness.
Okay, and I'll take a look around to see where this makes like searching for the stick irrelevant, by the way. But it is what it is.
No.
Okay,
All right.
in the darkness.
Yes. Your friend.
Yes, my only friend. He will find a somewhat flat, open surface in this glen area, and he would want to make sure that like a tree or a stump or something is within 2 meters of him, or within 2 to 3 meters.
That can be arranged.
Okay. And in the darkness, he will stand up straight in a form of almost militaristic style. And closing his eyes, he will summon the blade in front from the demiplane.
Yeah.
And with his eyes closed and the blade held in front of him straight up, he whispers to that of the blade, "Are you still there?" And he will take one step and begin to maneuver into that of a form of blade dance. Forms that he learned so long ago in deliberate, slow-paced maneuvers like a kata. Building up pace. And as he comes to the end of his forms of holding blades, he will look towards where that stump is and in a blinding flash attack that with the blade and attempt to include a smite at 5th level.
Make me a presence check.
God, because I have so much presence. The gem hardly glows, and you lash out at the end of it, trying to reach for that old familiar feeling of having that warmth fill you and then reverberate through you and into your arm and then unleashed through your sword to deal massive amounts of damage, and then nothing but a dull thump. Stands up straight once more, with his head bowed and disappointed. Look at the blade and then throw it into the darkness.
Oh.
It disappears into mists halfway through.
That it does.
And walks back to the camp.
Okay. Anything else to discuss around the fire, or do we go for a long rest and tangent with a short break?
I think just before, like, as they're getting ready for bed, Titania kind of sheepishly goes up to Akron and is just like, I, mm, I'm sorry if it feels like I'm pressuring you. It's
Not. I mean, I will admit, I never actually thought we'd find anything, so there was never any real danger to helping you explore, but... Never's right about one
sorry.
thing. You know, I don't think being right was your choice.
This, like, there are so many good things to this and also so many bad things to it. I barely even know what to think. I'm trying to just hold on to this idea of like, hey, this is something that I've been looking for a while, but then like the consequences of it are frankly staggering, and I don't want to discount your points. You have a valuable perspective, and I really care about you, and I don't want to make you feel super overwhelmed all the time.
Put it this way. Ginevra's right about one thing. I choose to follow you because you are my family. And that's what you do. You help your family. Beyond that, I really don't think there is dick all you could do, regardless of power or circumstance, to make me feel not overwhelmed by the fact that the gods are fucking real. Just generally, I don't really think that's on you. That being said, it changes everything and nothing at the same time. It doesn't change what the church has done. It doesn't change the fact that the sun's gonna rise and the mountains fucking suck. And, you know, we're stuck here into the day. Our circumstances are entirely the same, even if the context of those circumstances have changed. For my part, I'm going to disregard everything that happened yesterday and continue acting as though the gods do not loom over us, waiting to strike whatever they feel is relevant, because it doesn't matter right now. However, if you want someone to talk to about it, I'm not going to understand a damn thing you say, but I can listen.
Don't even worry about it. May I give you a hug?
Yeah. Hug Titania.
They will have a very close hug before falling asleep.
Girl, make sure to tell Titania you're still a nerd though, even if you are right.
Alright.
Okay. Alright. And with that, one after the other, in various states of minds, devastated, confused, excited by academic possibilities, and divinely confused, you all find sleep in one form or the other. Let's go for a ship break. Woo! Let's refill our glasses, empty our bladders,
Alrighty,
come back
cool.
back happy and ready. I'm gonna go and refill my glass. I will be right back. Shit. Hope you're having a good time, by the way. Yes.
up, chat? How's it going? Hope everyone's doing good today. Whoops. Go.
Welcome back.
Hey.
Damn,
I
that's some
think it's
heavy.
so funny to me. It is so funny to me that Acheron is the most life-focused character in the group. I think that's kind of funny, personally.
Oh yeah, true.
Right? Like, it's kind of, it's not what you'd expect, but I think it's so interesting that Acheron's the only one, like, am I the only one not willing to die for this? Everyone's like, yes.
Well,
Everyone's
it
like,
makes
oh.
sense with what I know about
Good to know.
her background. You know
No,
about
like,
it,
it absolutely makes sense. I just think it's funny. To me, it is personally a tiny bit amusing that the ex-agent who has been trained to die their entire life is the one that's the most focused on not dying.
True.
Interesting to me. Also, I think part of it is just that Acheron is inherently selfishly motivated and doesn't give as much of a fuck about the gods or magic as everyone else.
No, it's true. It's true. Not a bad thing though. It's good to have different ideas about the world.
Like I said, Acheron's kind of the selfish skeptic.
Yeah. Ooh, I gotta see.
Bless you.
Gesundheit to myself. Heimo's doing well enough. I'm happy to hear so. I am honestly a little bit tired in my neck and shoulders from, I don't know, sitting around and talking and like being proper with your spirits. Like either I'm moving or I'm super duper comfortable in the sofa. There's no in between.
My thing is, I got like a headache, and I took way too much of my ADHD meds yesterday, so I got like a hangover-y feeling.
Oh shit, okay.
Also, it's been raining here a bunch, and I get like barometric pressure headaches, so there's that. And I've been sitting in this damn chair. I did like the math, right? I am the god in my corner. Just you watch. But I did the math, and I have somewhere between 16 to 20 something pages of writing to do.
Damn.
Not including final exams, just papers due before my final exam. And I have, most of them are due in under 5 days, so I've been sitting in this chair all day, every day almost. Like the last week.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I understand that.
It's almost done.
I think Acheron is the only one without a god in their corner.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm a god in my corner. I think there's something to be said about not to want like a character rant.
Very questionable. If he got a god in his corner or not.
I'm sus.
Hella sus.
I think there's something to be said about selfish characters, not in like a bad way, just in like a strength way. Selfish maybe isn't the right word. I think the characters in our groups can be split into two groups, and that's those that draw strength from outside sources and those that draw strength from inside of themselves. And I think Acheron fits firmly into the second category, where strength is something that comes from within, not from without. Which has its own limitations and everything, but I think it's an interesting perspective and perhaps why Acheron views this situation a little differently.
I don't think anything. I know. I won't say.
It's just a duplicate of Aaron, slightly bigger.
What? What did I miss?
Who Aaron has in his corner? It's just Aaron, but slightly bigger.
I have a horse in my corner.
Big Aaron and Hans. Oh boy. How's the mic quality, by the way? The static being a bitch?
It hasn't been that bad.
No, it's been good.
Flip to talk probably helps a little bit.
Yeah, the context behind everything was that I was talking about how it's interesting that Acheron is the most life-focused character right now. Which is kind of ironic and kind of funny. It was a bit of a haha.
The funny thing is that, like, Titania has to balance her excitement about, like, new things with the fear of new things. 'Cause, like, after saying it out loud, I had to stop myself from laughing.
Welcome.
Because I was like, yeah, Titania would be like, ooh, the afterlife, how interesting, and then be like, fuck, I can't get back.
I don't know if anyone here's seen the show, The 100. It's good enough to watch, but not good enough to like a special ever. There's a character in it, it's like my absolute favorite character, that I rewatched it recently, and the character is Murphy, that's the name of the character. Reminds me a lot of Acheron, actually. In, like, that he's very, like, survival-minded and selfish, and he has social problems. Me too, bitch. The 100 is very good. The last season, we don't talk about the ending, but it's very good.
Oh boy, is this a Game of Thrones situation where it just falls apart?
Oh no.
I would argue Game of Thrones at least stuck to its narrative guns as far as theming.
I disagree, but fair.
if the main thesis of Game of Thrones is power corrupts, I believe that they, in a very bad way, stuck to their guns. The 100 kind of was like, if the 100's thesis is you can't put a price on life and you should try to survive no matter what for the sake of not going extinct, and like, you know, if it's a conversation about the price of survival, the 100 dropped the ball into a black hole and fucking dabbed out of existence with a psych bitch, and that's how that ended.
Lovely.
Okay.
Welcome back, all. Alright.
It's good though.
Okay. Well. Let's get back into it, shall we? If everybody is ready, let's do it. Let's set it up. Do. Yes. Nice. A fresh breeze from the east is your steady companion as you leave the plateau and the lake behind. The morning is spent on a gentle decline. Somebody sent a message to me? Oh, okay. I see. Following a small run-off stream from the lake above. At the beginning you trudge through random patches of stubborn summer snow, but you quickly leave that all behind to skip between exposed and hidden cracked stones, moss, and mounds of tough highland grass. As lunch approaches, the elevation flattens out and you swap the decline as often for an incline. You become significantly protected from the colder highland winds, and the clear skies allows the sun to heat you and your weary bones up to a temperature that climbs to a comfortable 5 or so degrees Celsius. All around you is massive complexes of snowy tops, and in front of your feet is just miles upon miles of highland emptiness. The only signs of life beyond your group is some birds and a group of mountain goats climbing expertly the slopes in the far distance. And in the middle of the afternoon, you must exert your willpower over your body once again as you stand before another climb. But this is more of a rounded off ridge than a sharp mountain peak, thankfully. Still, muscles burn and complain as it is a straight hour of a sharp incline. In the late afternoon, the landscape flattens for your tired feet to a snow-covered plateau. It's not entirely uniform, however. Here and there are sharp crevasses where streams have eaten away at the bedrock for millennium. Still, it's hard to see and judge how long the stretch of journey will be. At the same time, clouds start to cover the sun in even intervals, and the elevation brings down the temperature to around freezing once more. Together with your shoes, that are now surely soaked, the next 2 hours or so of walking before camp time turns less than joyous. Just a cold, inhospitable, grey world with an horizon that takes way too long to arrive at. Any conversation we want to have during this trek? This trek of,
I think Titania is very lost in thought, thinking about everything, and she's kind of hit that point where it's like more of just like so overwhelmed by possibilities and potential, but also for both good and for the truly terrible that she barely even knows where to begin. And that's why she just, a lot of the time, if you look at her throughout the day, she's not writing anything. She's just looking at blank pieces of paper, not really knowing where to begin.
Yeah.
I do check in with Meulen.
Alright. Meulen, as usual, is trudging along in the front. His heavy bags he had underneath his eyes are gone, and it seems to, like, his vitality has returned to him.
He's gonna, lock up.
Uh-huh.
So how does this change our plans?
There's a pause. There's a furrow of a brow. And then a face that relaxes. We have always heard that they existed. And so, nothing really should change. But it would be to speak falsehood to not say that it's shaken us in some way or the other.
I fucking hope so. Believing, seeing are very different.
It just means that I gotta work harder and even more attentively from now on to protect you all.
Sorry. Do you think you could protect us from a god? Do you have some skill set I'm unaware of? Did they used to teach god fighting and agent training and they just cut that out by the time I arrived, or?
I will be careful of how you use these words,
You wish, Acheron.
Corey. These are not gods. They're a mockery of them.
Unless one of them was Rion.
Well, that would be the exception.
Excuse me. Okay, then let me amend myself. Did they teach devil fighting in agent training and then removed it by the time I got there? You do realize, regardless of what they are, you're powerless in this situation, right?
There used to be more, I'm sure, of that in the training in Geono's age. Untold horrors that humanity had to stand against to win this peace. But then they disappeared. Till now. And he sends a wary look over to Aaron. I'm not sure, Akron, but we gotta do our best to rise up to the occasion. We are the hidden dagger in the dark, protecting humanity from its baser instincts.
Protecting humanity from rich people disapproving of the church. I'm very aware.
There's
Protecting them from the church not having the lands it thinks it should. Or not enough children for its meat grinder. Noble quest, indeed.
Such actions might seem, on a surface level, cruel. But it would be a naive fool to say that the church cannot succeed without numbers and money in this kind of world.
If we saw Rihanna and the devil, is it possible to assume that whatever the Ravenmoors have could have contributed to that presence? And therefore, isn't it just a little bit blasphemous for her eminence and all her wisdom to make any kind of deal with devil worshippers, especially if it has brought an actual fucking devil into the world?
It's a long past now, and with a softer tone than normal. It's not really my place to question. But I wonder more and more during this particular journey of ours if I should make some discreet reports.
To her? About this? You think she doesn't know?
Cardinals can act with a certain amount of independence. Their eminence has always acted like this is the wishes of the Solar Priest herself, but I shouldn't doubt, but I do. It's hard to have faith in all of this. But the journey has started, Acheron. The pen has struck. My life is on the shopping block. And I must see this mission through. But afterward, I do have contacts.
Maybe that is a good idea. For what it's worth, I hope you survived this. During and after.
All this is surely a debacle, but if I start raising my tone, and if our eminence gets wind of it, well, I fear her more so than any mountain.
Don't go back.
The birds in the sky will find me, that's for sure. There's no place to hide.
It's like
Besides,
you said, you don't care if you end up in a ditch, so at least end up on in a ditch on your own terms.
He smiles at that. I have devoted my life to the good people of Rion. And I will be damned if I don't do so in death as well.
Can I see this conversation?
Yeah, you can see the conversation, but Meulen makes sure with his agency ways to keep it out of, earshot. And they're walking
Yeah, but can I see his lips?
He's walking ahead of you. So,
Okay.
no.
They were
Okay,
both
so
kind
I
of
can't see
looking
his
at
face.
Yeah.
Alright, fair enough.
Well, I suppose that's your prerogative, too. The way I see it, if we're going to hell, which we might be, given the things that we've done, might as well like the reason you're there. So.
It's a big sigh. Another, rare, genuine smile. And then just comfortable silence.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Any other conspiratorial conversations? Alright. Okay. Thankfully, the end do come of the day. Both for your walk and for this plateau. As Bear looks down upon the sharp decline stretching before him, and then the angle of the sun shining through the now light cloud cover, he calls it a night, and diverts his attention to find a dry patch of land. With Aaron's help, you find the best campsite as you can, but it's by no means perfect or comfortable, really. There's only a small fire this night, scavenged through grass and bushes. It is honestly mostly just smoke and gives off an acrid smell, but it does produce a little bit of heat, and it is what you got. There's not much talking that evening. Mostly tired faces, wet feet, and the freezing temperature make you all escape into the privacy and the slightly warmer confines of your own tents. Do you share a tent again with Aaron for the temperature?
Not just for the temperature, like for me to survive at all. Otherwise, I'm literally outside.
Homeless.
Jennifer has been very much the same as Titania throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
But probably also noticed Titania being absent-minded. and is curious what's going on in there. Seeing as there's no scribbling being done, which is unusual. So if I'm able to, I might check in with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
If she's done any more processing.
Kick
After
Acheron
today.
out of the tent and enter yourself.
Well, I was hoping to do this before we went into that tent, but
Oh, okay, yeah. No, for
And
sure.
I'll go sit with Aaron then.
it's kind of like when we're having dinner and stuff.
Trading.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you could trade, it's fine. So, what's going on in there?
Oh, is this in character? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure right now. Like, see, many of the assumptions I've been operating under for essentially as long as I've been keeping notes were like the presumptions that, oh, the scriptures were works of people and the existence of gods was entirely debatable, and it was more worthwhile to treat it as if they didn't exist because there was no evidence to prove as much. And yet here we are, and I am...
It's hard to let go of a hypothesis.
I'm filled with both excitement and dread. Like, this is progress, you know? It's new, it's exciting, it's interesting, it presents new pathways for learning, and yet if me being stopped and pushed back and held back from seeking knowledge is the will of a god, what the hell am I doing? And I want to come up with a hypothesis, but then it's like, it is... I'm trying to do what's right for the people, but I'm in that liminal space between having the proof to know that there's more to seek out, but not enough proof to actually be able to write anything substantial. Like, I've got testimonies from everybody here about the existence of whatever just happened, which, again, is... The god thing is entirely a presumption. It certainly looked like it. I haven't seen any magic in 25 years that has even come close to that, so that's my best guess. But it's
Usually the simplest solution is the correct one. You're worried that what you're doing is wrong because it goes against what you think is the will of a god.
No, I'm not worried that it's wrong. Maybe I'm more worried that it's not going to get anywhere.
It's gotten you here. This is a hell of a lot further than anyone else has been.
That is a fair point. It's just with the whole... surveillance thing and with my family on the line, and I mean, I couldn't stand up to most anyone in a conflict of violence if people are willing to, if I could get people to listen and understand that that's where I thrive. But if I want to actually like stand up against somebody willing to kill or threaten me or others, I'm just one woman with a pen in her hand. And all I'm hoping is I can inspire others to action, but if it's like it's the impossibility of it is catching up to me, and there's so much I don't understand yet.
Having others to listen.
There's always the necessity in my mind for people to listen. You need to have a solid argument. It can't just be figments of some people's thoughts. I mean, even talking with Aaron, like, the questions that I want to answer for him, I can just give vague references to scripture that I don't even know if it's real or not. That's not evidence you can use to change people's mind, to inspire people to action. It's like theories, but worse.
I think I would argue that most people's minds aren't changed by the facts, they're changed by the story. And if you are as disbelieving of the church's scriptures as I think you are, that would surely make sense to you. I know that isn't to say that you shouldn't seek truth, you shouldn't look for knowledge, and if you can provide physical proof, that is something that people can tend to respond to. But we've already seen that in Acheron, if people don't want to know, they don't want to change their mind, even in the face of physical proof, they aren't going to. I think your ideas about having people listen is correct, and I think if there's ever a time that they're going to listen, they're going to be susceptible to new ideas, to things they hadn't thought about. It's going to be now, because everything's changed for most of the people here. It might just be the way you speak.
If I may, GM, may I call for a deception roll from Titania and an empathy composure check from Ginevra?
Yeah, for sure.
I
Do
just
it.
want to see.
Alright.
Do it.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Okay. Which one? 16? Okay. You muted yourself.
Oh no, I can't hear you.
Freaking purchase talk. I need to remember this. You can, Ginevra, as you're watching Titania kind of ramble about stuff that she's largely said a lot before, but now there's even more confusion. You can tell that there's like a little bit of a deeper seed of fear and confusion that she's like dancing around and evidently doesn't want to talk about. And she's kind of just using all the thoughts in her head as a bit of a deflection as you're trying to talk to her.
Okay. But I can see that that's not all that's on your mind. And maybe that's what's blocking you from getting it out. You don't have to talk to me about it, but I'm always here if you want to. And it's probably best for you if you do get it out somehow. Things get a lot clearer when they're written down or laid out in an order. If you never face something you fear, it only gets bigger and it swallows everything.
Sunny kind of looks out at the open plains and the distinct lack of privacy here in the Highlands, and just another later. I've got a lot on my mind. Thank you for offering your counsel. If you'll excuse me. And she's gonna head off to her tent and just like
just before you leave, she's just gonna catch your arm and say, I would like to speak to you about something else, but once these things are off your mind or you have more clarity on them, come find me when you face that. And she'll let go and move away.
Thanks. And she will duck inside her tent.
Hey. Okay.
We don't have to do this in session, but Akron, like, in the tent with Titania, will kind of just let Titania talk or ramble whatever she needs. Akron seems remarkably chill about circumstances today versus the, like, absolute fucking mind-blown panic of yesterday. Just is kind of like, yeah, the gods are real. Cool, what do you want to say about it? Go. Just kind of lets Titania talk however Titania needs.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to have just accepted whatever the fuck has happened and moved on.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anything else for tonight? Yeah.
Does it feel like we are nearing the end of this voyage, or is it still lots long to go?
You're not entirely sure since you don't really have access to a map right now. Meulen has all the navigation things going on for himself.
I mean, I have eyes, so it's a question of...
I have eyes.
I can see in the dark. No, in the sense, like, does it look like? I mean, if we're on the other side of the mountain range, theoretically, that's where we are. If we're descending,
some time here. Make me an intelligence check, because you were.
I am not the big smart.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, you were a little bit out of your mind when you exited the valley the last time. A 14?
It is a 14.
Okay. No, you do recognize the environment, and you think you're pretty close.
Okay. How many days?
Less than a day.
So this is like, theoretically, could be the last night?
Yeah. Outside of valley.
Okay, then I think I'm gonna have to do it today. Night.
Oh god. Okay.
Ruin searching Pog, let's go!
Wait, do what today? What are we doing today?
Well, it's Ginevra's gonna be in the tent with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Time to die.
I mean, it's possible.
I'm gonna be a hostage.
It happens, right? Isn't that what you said? Like, everyone dies eventually.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I'm laughing.
Okay. So. This night, as Ginevra is within the tent.
Yeah.
Aaron will do the same, like, gesture to allow her to take her place within the tent. But this night, before passing into Sleepy Town, he will, as like big spoon, little spoon kind of thing going on. He will whisper to Ginevra. We're getting close, aren't we?
She nods. I think so.
You satisfied with our progress?
How do you mean?
Our speed to cross the mountain range?
I don't. We haven't had many things holding us back. We're all still alive. Unhurt. I'm happy about that. What are you trying to ask me?
In the spoon position, his arm will tighten around her. I've been playing this game. We are your captives. I have seen no evidence to disprove this, despite what you say. What is your intention with us, Ginevra?
My intention with you? As if you're just some things that I'm playing around with? I have no intentions with you. Tell me. If you could bring them back, your deity, would you? And she turns around, at least her face, she can, to look at you.
He's looking up into the corner of the tent with the question. Part of me wishes so, yes.
Can you speak a little louder, please? I can't
Sorry?
hear you. Sorry.
Part of me wishes
What did you
so.
say?
I don't know how I feel. It's not been easy getting used to or refamiliarizing myself with something that I never expected to endure. I didn't expect to endure being a prisoner for days on end and climbing through the mountains at the behest of captors. I lost something a long time ago. I do wish to have it back if possible, but I'm starting to think that that is not going to become a reality. So I do not lament over it if it can't be done.
And if it could be.
In this hellhole that is isolation of Rian, with the church just decimating every possibility.
Did you not see what I saw yesterday?
Of course I saw. And
Things are changing.
I'm aware of that. But you are a follower of Rian, are you not?
I work for the church, yes.
And the church has need of something for us to do. And you are complicit with that, are you not?
Yes. Not just because the church tells me so. In fact, the church told me to leave. If you'll remember, Miriam was the one telling me I wasn't needed. I chose to be here because I want to be. I want to know what this thing is. I want to know what's happening here. It shouldn't be a surprise with all the questions I've been asking you. I'm not here because I'm told to be here. I'm here because I want to know.
Something still doesn't add up to me, Ginevra. When we first set out, and we were being tracked by those that chased Acheron and Tia, and a completely separate group of people that were chasing you. When it all came to a head at the tavern, you so quickly switched to those that were tracking Tia and Acheron. And you never really explained exactly what faction you worked for.
I didn't switch. I kept you all alive. If I hadn't, they would be dead by now. I continued to look out for them then, as I did before. You continue to fight another day, because each new day presents opportunities of freedom. Death does not.
His arms
The
tightened.
church wanted you dead, and I'm the only reason you're alive.
He thinks to himself, as if that's true. He wasn't awake when you did what you did, so he doesn't have concept.
You can try and determine if she's lying, but they wanted to kill you. And I said, this is way beyond our level, with the two cardinals clashing in what they want. And that nothing should be done until they decide. I stopped everyone after you had fallen, because for some reason you decided to come back. And you made that choice.
I decided to come back because I thought, Ginevra, that something was different about you, but...
And that something different is what kept you alive. It's what brings you to what you want.
I don't think you know what I want, Ginevra.
That's why I asked.
I don't want to be a captive. I don't want to be trapped.
You think I can change that?
He's gonna, like, try and maneuver so he pins you down quickly.
Okay.
And, like, hold your hands down, I guess. You play so many games, Ginevra. You know more than you say that you do. I'm sure of it. And I need to know before we leave this mountain exactly what you intend to do when we reach our destination.
You can let go of me, and I can talk to you as a civil person. I'm not going to give you answers because you push hard enough and you tie me down.
Roll a persuasion check.
Okay.
That's completely fine. That's completely fine. Go for it. Yeah. No,
Language manipulation?
well, that sounded rather... You sounded very sure of your tone, so yeah, go for manipulation. Damn. Alright.
He loosens his grip on you as you suggest this. But he's still like kind of on top of you, I suppose.
Then she's gonna lean to sit up.
I never know if you're telling the truth. And I need you to speak plainly so I can understand. Because if I don't feel safe with you, Ginevra, and we reach our destination, and I don't like what we encounter, I don't know if you're going to be a friend or an enemy. And honestly, I'm not sure I care at this point.
If I speak plainly now, do you promise that you will take my word? Otherwise, this is just going to go on and on.
I suppose I'm going to have to, aren't I?
Is that a yes?
Fine. Say what you got to say.
And I'll check around outside the tent to see if everyone seems to be asleep. No one is still up.
Oh.
If someone's
okay.
on watch, they're not nearby,
Alright.
etc.
Okay. Make me a perception intelligence as you look out.
It's not the
I
best.
do think that you're relying more on your hearing than your eyes right now, because then you would get disadvantaged because of the low light.
Yeah.
It seems
I do the best I can.
calm. It was just the wind.
Okay. Then I'll keep my voice as low as I can.
Sure.
And look close so that he can see my eyes as I speak to him, not intending any kind of being honest. But me as a player is gonna have to look around.
Yeah, gotcha.
I believe in Rian. I believe in his godhood and his power. And I've used that power to try to help people through the church. But I believe there is something more than Rian. I've always felt it since I was a child. Since they laid my body in the water every day. I felt it in the water. And that belief never really left me. So I came to where there are answers, where there is knowledge of these things, in the hopes that someday I would find the answer of whether this thing I felt was real, and if so, good. It didn't ever feel like a devil to me, if it was anything at all. And now I know for sure, because I've seen her. She's real. She's very, very real. She's here.
Who?
I don't know her name, but one who governs the seas. Maybe you could tell me her name.
Intelligence check.
That's a creepy whisper, Bexxy. That was the creepiest call for a roll I've ever heard.
It's one of the primordial ones. Who the fuck cares?
However, Bexxy,
Yeah. Okay. Ooh. Argue with me. I love it.
there are only 7. So if that
Yeah.
is true,
Now there are 7, but you have no idea
Now-
who those 7 are.
I know
Yes.
exactly. So he has to make some heavy assumptions here. Why are there
Aaron's been
7?
given descriptions, though. If you remember in the carriage, Shitani went over all the devil
True,
myths
true,
and
true,
gave
true,
descriptions.
true.
At least as
Okay.
far as we. I don't know if that counts for anything, but just
It is true.
not
No,
to like
it's very
interfere, but
true.
just to bring it up.
That
Yeah.
was a good interference. Yeah. But you know that the one, the nature gods are part of the primordial accord, but they were rather, distant, didn't really meddle much, weren't really involved with the celestial conclave, or the seraphic concord.
No, I get that. I mean, just to say, but the thing is, though, he doesn't think Ginevra is like this person that is going to be worshipping someone from, like, the League of Discord
No.
or the 7 Masters or Devils. So
Sure.
there
But
is
you
going to
know that the one who govern water or
Yeah.
oceans and things like that of that nature was in the primordial accord.
be. Yes, of
Yes,
course.
yes. But
But it's a question of what he experienced as an actual knowledge at the point before,
but
there is some.
would you have remembered all the 1769 names by heart?
Like, kind of feel like that's what you would get trained to do, like just walking around,
True.
so you don't get
Fair.
smoked.
Fair. Smut.
Smoke.
True. Okay, so the lore around the reckless devil, the devil's child, is that the devil's child is a force without maturity, unable to control or want to control her powers. She will unleash the full force of the seas to drown all who triggers her fickle whims. That's what Titania taught you. Well, okay. Fair. Absolutely fair. But you're in iron sure that it's the primordial accord. You know that there's 3 that governs over water in different ways. You know that there's one of the oceans, one of the lakes and rivers, and one that is water itself.
Mhm.
You probably know the chief god of them, Tefei, being water.
Yes, but I don't know exactly if it is Tefei or if it is any other, like if it is Nulatha or if it is.
Yeah, you're not sure which one of the 3, but
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But okay, I will grant you their names and what they're about, but too hard to tell. And if you ask Tia about repeating what she told you about the Devils of Rion, considering this intelligence check makes things a little bit slow in your mind right now, then you might be able to perhaps connect it to the Devil's Child.
Okay, I'll look at Ginevra and say, there were a lot of gods when I was around, and I am making a lot of assumptions because I honestly don't know. If there are truly only 7 remaining, then some have gone, or combined. So, I haven't met every single god, Ginevra. I know of them because it was a matter of respect and security. My role when I was where I was wasn't to do with managing or tracking what the other gods do, but I was taught who they are. If you can provide me with more information, maybe I can give you their name as it was stated back then. But why do you bring this up? Why are you saying that she is here? And
Because.
God,
Go on.
why do you act as if this is a good thing? If you believe in Rian, you're not meant to be following anyone else.
You can believe that something is real without believing that they should have a monopoly on the world.
You're talking to someone who lives amongst many gods. I know they exist. I don't have to say if I believe or not. They are there. It's a question of what you believe.
And as I said, I believe in Rian, in a world where Rian is the only one. And so it's assumed that one can only believe in them. But like I said, I believe that there was more. I believe in Rian, and his power has allowed me to do the things that I can do to heal people. But I always knew there was something more. I always believed there was something more. And it wasn't until yesterday that I got proof. And she told me.
She. Why she? If who I saw up there, then they were not she's.
That's because she's not one of them. Well, she's not them.
Who?
She had quite affectionate names for them. Terry, she called one, and I think it was Boring Giza or something for the other one. And then I'll give like a description of what I saw, of what she looked like. Try to be specific, but also kind of tinged with awe and fascination.
Yeah.
She's different too. She's not the Stormlord. She's not Rian. She's something else.
And when did you see this?
Yesterday. In
I
the
didn't
lake.
see. What?
Because she wasn't talking to you. She told me we have an opportunity. As you did see yesterday or the day before, there are things happening here. The barrier that is holding them back, it's weaker here, seemingly. It could be that this barrier, this gate that's holding them back, doesn't have a specific location, but is accessed at multiple points. And I think that this artifact that we're coming to is one of those points.
A point of the barrier?
I think it could be our only chance to reconnect with who you lost. One of them.
And what will you do? What is your intention?
To activate it and open up the barrier. At the very least, bring her through. But I don't think it will work in a way where I think even having one will start a cascade. So there you go. The only problem is we're not there to see it. They're just there to have an interview about it. And so I need to find a way to get a hold of it when we're there. And if you are done with wandering around, finding no answers, then I would welcome your help.
It's the second time that someone's brought up the barrier today. If I am to understand exactly what this is by trying to translate the extraordinary amount of information that came out of Titania's mouth in such a short amount of time.
She called it a
Seems
blinding wall of light and fire that made doing things, influencing this plane, extremely difficult.
Maybe it's not too late then. I did try and connect when I was told that, but if it means finding this artifact to open something about this fiery barrier to allow me to reconnect back with my deity, then I will do that. And if that is truly what you have intended.
You have my
Nice.
word.
Then I'll stop giving you so much shit about being my captor.
Thanks. Speaking of which, Meulen may also be a follower of her. I'm not 100% sure. There's been some coding. But also, just like your position, I don't want to be talking to the church about it if I don't know for sure that they are a part of it. Because the reason I haven't told you guys this stuff is because I have a position in the church that I'm trying to keep up so that I can do these things. He's probably doing the same. Better than me, because he's got far higher up. Just worth knowing. But if he is an ally, he will be a powerful ally, seeing as he's leading everyone else here.
He looks with Ginevra with several blinks, like, the fuck you say, girl? And he nods once and says, understood.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Ah,
Again.
You can't just say that.
Never. Really? You had to pick the child? You couldn't have picked someone with emotional, stability?
Well, technically, he. What? Who do you mean?
the goddess.
Oh, God, okay, sorry.
As someone who works with,
You're talking about
11-year-olds?
Oh, the God.
As someone who works with 11-year-olds, what are you doing? Why did you pick the child?
Love that Ginevra and Titania picked two of the most chaotic gods on the list that were actively violent.
Acheron is so fucking tired.
There's one that's even more chaotic.
Yeah.
And I
Which
bet
you
you'll
are
pick
right now.
watch it be Aaron's god. Watch it be Aaron's god.
No, his is
No,
up the sky.
yours, Acheron, because we're gonna drag you into this.
Okay, anyway.
Just wants a nap.
Fun times. I heard Candace whispers there for a moment. I thought my ship would come true, but it did not. I'm a little bit disappointed. Let's carry on.
We got another 100 or 200, maybe million to go. He's already got enough.
Unless I
It's-
slide
it's
in there and steal
but
But
Ginevra.
that was such a Tumblr hot guy move. Wow.
Right? That's what I've been saying. Don't do sexy
I have
man.
none of it. But, you're not gonna pin me down.
And
To
that
get
you never
answered.
be
No.
a boss and like, Okay, but anyway,
This is how I
let's...
slide in here and
Probably
steal
good.
Ginevra.
So archetypes:
What do you
Tumblr,
mean,
sexy man, girl boss, accidental Jesus, and edgelord.
This is not
I know
like
where you
the
live.
titles that are going to be underneath his name.
No, but they are gonna be the tags on my artwork.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Anyway, sleep comes, sleep goes. Then, there is a tangible sizzling through the air in the morning. It started with Medea and Silas and Meulen sharpening their weapons, double checking their equipment and their armor. Their grim faces and methodical practices prompted a question from one of you, and then that answer that was shared sent ripples of suspense through all of you. In sight is the final approach to Cedar Valley. Camp is picked up. Then the fresh breeze from yesterday remains this morning, as did the cloud cover. But over the course of today's hike, about lunchtime, they will turn from a grey blanket to fluffy spots of white towers. Most of the morning is spent on the ridge decline, and then into that river valley, as you can see on the picture. Walking along its shores as it snakes between stony ridges. At lunchtime, you have passed by one of these bends, and the ridge behind you, that you left behind, is now well out of sight. Like yesterday, there is not much chatter as you trudge along, but for entirely different reasons. Worry, rest, eternal ponderings. It feels wrong to break the tension with jovial topics. It is simply not the right time. 2 hours after lunch, you have finally cleared the river behind and started conquering that sharp slope. It starts rather friendly, rock and mud at an angle that is quite easy to conquer. But over the course of the next 2 hours, the climb gets harder and harder as the snow gets deeper and icier, and the slope gets sharper and sharper. With heavy breaths and tired legs, you look upon the final ascent. A very sharp, angled glacier wall. But in comparison to the other, this one is merely 5 meters or so tall. And so when you bring out the climbing gear, you feel not too much apprehension or fear. You have been through much worse. Once everyone has climbed up safely, there's a treacherous crevasse in front of you. And you start the slow process of clearing it. Having to climb over boulders and jump down from them again. Awkward angles, awkward placements of your feet. Make me a perception composure, please, everybody.
Oh boy, composure, my favorite. Let's go!
Yeah, boy.
Yeah,
It's
boy.
the spooning.
She be hyper focused.
Titania accidentally rolls an ankle at some point. It's just like, fuck, ow!
I'm too busy laughing at Titania on the inside to
Oh?
be observant.
Okay.
I missed the fucking city!
Meulen got a critical 1, but then we got Silas with a 22, Medea with a 19, and Osprey with a 20.
It's
Good job,
only
team.
those of us who care that struggle.
So, Ginevra, Medea, Silas, and Osprey, before you make a particularly sharp turn in this tight crevasse, you can only hear the faintest sound of stones falling down the slope. You tense.
Can I shout stop? Stop. Rock fall. Rock slide.
There's
Where do I hear it
a hand movement coming up from both Silas and Medea that that Meulen and Acheron immediately notices, and they go silent, and then they all turn to you with irritated looks as you went loud.
I thought it was a rock slide. I didn't know how close it was, if it was far away or on top of us.
Just some gentle stones. But, what the agent's response to danger is to lay low and be quiet, right? You'll tense. You wait. Listening. Can't hear anything. And then
Get my bow out.
the scrape of a stone somewhere in the front. Meulen and Silas starts to creep forward, going into the kind of hunched over position, trying to approach by being as small of a target as possible.
I'll aim where I heard the sound coming from.
There's no line of sight as there's sharp turn.
No, I'll
Does
aim
it
as
seem like
close
I
to the
should go
sound.
with them? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Acheron, you can go with them if you want to, for sure.
Okay. Just because I'm
just gonna crouch
like
behind
not to question Silas,
place.
but I am smaller, so this was kind of like my whole jam. But
Sure,
yeah, so
sure,
I'll go
sure.
with them too.
Alright. You all approach carefully. Try to clear the crevasse as best you can in this sharp turn. And you look around after you've cleared it, looking for any kind of danger, and you see mountain goats climbing a little bit up above you, sending a rock down. Immediately, Silas and Meulen kind of straightens. There's a bit of a relieved chuckle share between.
Is it lunchtime?
You're clear to come forward and continue through the crevasse.
They're like wild mountain goats, right? Like they're like indigenous to the area and all that stuff.
Probably. But you do know that they are, considering your training with the agents and going through the demographics of all countries. You know that of course there are some mountain goat herders, but they're usually on the edges of the audience point, not this deep within, right? It's rather hard to exist here, as you know.
I mean, that's true, but also the Ravenmoors are being really weird, so
True.
Acheron is gonna like spend just another second like looking for signs of. I don't know if Acheron would do. I'm trying. Sorry, give me 1 second to think about what angle Acheron would approach this from.
Okay.
I guess signs of domestication, like if they seem to stick together more in like a herd type, like a closer line, or if I can see that
Roll
they're
animal
maybe
handling
waiting.
with cunning.
Okay. It's worth a
Finally,
shot, right?
this roll has been called.
It's worth a shot, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Death Rave, thank you so much for the compliment.
17.
17. They are moving with a shared purpose, but it's not like they have any signs of, like they're and nothing hanging off from their horns. There's nothing coloring their fur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Acheron will kind of relax a bit, too.
It's like a long line of them that is kind of walking from like behind a boulder and from like a turn that you cannot see, and they just keep on coming. You're a little bit surprised at like how many they are. The whole group eventually turns this corner and kind of walk with the the goats above you for a while. They're really woolly, some with small black horns, and they're all clad in this stark white kind of fur. One male stops and look at you in a little bit of a embrace with a surprisingly low baritone voice, but then keeps on going as he notices that you're not really immediately threatening them.
I think just for flavor, Akron can't help but like kind of look back at Medea, remembering shared dreams that are
Oh god.
long gone.
Yeah, Medea also looks at them a little bit quizzically. Then, instantly, for all those that are here that are battle-hardened, tension comes back. Weapons in your hands. What put you all on edge was another goat that rounded that corner in the line, coming into your view to reveal a humanoid figure that rides it. A small humanoid figure that rides it. Weapons lower a little bit in confusion.
No.
And then you see above you, a few meters above and to the side, a old, frail woman with a backpack, a green, dirty cloak, dozens of compartments on her belt, and a gnarly staff that has been decorated with feathers, bones, and hanging rocks. And on top of that weird globe that is the tip of her staff, there sits a magpie, turning its head back and forth to take you all in. Then you hear, "Ah, there you all are! I was beginning to find you quite rude to make these old bones wait for so long. Now, come along. We have business to take care of." Her voice crackles like old dry wood, but leaves no space for argument.
Looking at Meulen.
Yeah, I was about to say, you want to bet?
Expecting this?
Akron looks ready to throw down at the first sign of being allowed to.
Yeah, like, Meulen immediately raised his weapon again, so she started talking. Medea and Silas brought up their crossbows. And Osprey is having just his suspicious slitted eyes towards this woman. But Meulen is a little bit taken aback. Like, there was a lot of things he was worried about, and this was surely not it.
And can I do, real quick, if you wouldn't mind? I'm
Yes.
sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but can I do some kind of like, I don't know what it'd be. It'd probably be empathy, composure, to try to figure out, this woman thinks she has authority. I want to try to figure out what kind it is. Like, if this is like an intimidating, threatening authority, like a she thinks she can easily overpower us type thing, or like a self-believing authority, like she just actually thinks that, you know, what she's she thinks she's 100% in the right, that she like knows the
Sure,
most.
yeah, for sure. Make me an empathy composure.
I don't know if I explained that well.
Yeah, no, that's completely fine.
But
Yeah, I'll join in that if I can.
yeah,
yeah, I just want to figure
Meulen
out
will do as well.
why she thinks we'll go with her.
Okay, I don't. Okay.
It's a dirty 20.
Ginevra.
Ginevra.
What?
Hey.
Whoa, look at
Oh,
you all.
it's the suspicion.
It's finally getting to tell the whole
damn.
truth after 25 sessions. She's feeling great.
Finally.
There you go.
Mirror was the critical one again. What the fuck?
Mirren!
What the
Buddy!
fuck?
He critical failed it in 2 in a row as well?
I need to stop questioning his motives, because he only sucks
Really?
after I make him doubt the church.
I got 2 20s
Well,
as he got 2 1s. That's mad.
all of you,
stolen.
Ginevra, Acheron, and Aaron, you all notice that she is not threatening you with any kind of violence, but she does believe arrogantly, mayhaps, that she knows things that you do not, right? You know, the kind of old kind of person where, like, my wisdom is infinite and you're all fools and you should listen to what I have to say. Yeah, that's the vibes that she is radiating.
I think if Miron doesn't immediately descend, Titania's gonna make sure that woman stays in eyesight and is gonna, like, start following after her.
Yeah.
No, she kind of stops to take you all in, and Miron actually raises his hand, and in the same time, Medea and Silas raises their crossbows to, like, a deadly aim, and immediately, with a very serious tone, says, "Give me one reason, woman, for me not to shoot you down right now. How, in Riorn's name, could you know that we were approaching?"
Well, we haven't exactly been subtle, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Plus, like, I mean... Hi, Titania, by the way, to the old woman. Turns back to the group.
Some manners.
This is a clue. Come on. And who wouldn't want some actual shelter after hiking in the mountains for ages?
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to
I
meet
think
you.
we just were a little surprised and would feel safer if we knew who you were and why you were expecting us.
She stops at this moment where things get more tense, leans the staff against the goat to show her both hands are empty. And whilst her body language seems very calm and non-threatening, the magpie is freaking out right now. Its cry is echoing in protest all over the crevasse as its, like, wings are flaxing back and forth. And like, after a second or two, like, she tries to speak and then she gets overshadowed by the magpie, and so she flicks it on the, like, the beak and she says, "Hush, Gorkov! I'm speaking!" There we go. "I saw you approach from above, you see, and, well, you did take your time ascending. It must have been a hard climb you have been partaking in. Followers of Riorn, fellow followers of Riorn."
Is she telling the truth when she says that?
Empathy compassion.
Is that girl a fellow follower?
You're not even a fellow follower.
There's a wry smile there, Ginevra, that leaves you a little bit suspicious. And she continues, "I mean you no harm. I actually come with a proposition, because I have been around these parts for a little bit longer than you have, that's for sure. And I do believe that we have some common interests."
Acheron will lean over to Mirren and quietly say, "I know that we're all on edge, and this may not feel like a good situation, but keep in mind who we are. We can always kill her later. We're more than capable."
Agreed. There are too many unknown elements.
This whole thing is an unknown element. It has been ever since those figures in the sky showed up. The least we can do is get more information before acting. Right?
He is a little bit taken aback and then winks towards you. And he leans back on his heels, brings out his hands. Immediately his body language goes from tense to absolutely relaxed. Well, guest and follower Rian, I do want to hear what you have to say. And as long as we are talking about this proposition of yours, I do promise you safe passage. A bit of a politician you are, I see. Well, I will have to accept that. But can we please find somewhere a bit more comfortable to talk at? Perhaps a campsite with a fire and some food, perhaps? Pray tell, do you have some liquor with you? You know, to warm the stomach and all?
Titania, who was very, like, approaching this old woman, assuming that she would have shelter, just kind of, like, takes one step back and looks at her like, do you not... I assume you're a shepherd of these... of the local wildlife. Do you not have your own abode here?
Very recently, I found myself here,
Oh.
And,
My apologies.
Silas, like, looks up like, yeah, I got some booze, but immediately Meulen says, no, we do not have any liquor, but we do have some food, and we can share a campfire with you. You said you knew these parts. Do you have any location in particular that you would find adequate for our purposes? Yes, well, I would recommend that we keep to the, western part of the valley. Do not aggravate the inhabitants of the east. Come, this way! And she spurs her mountain goat that she's been riding, one of the larger males. Meulen, like, twists his head a little bit to the side in, like, pondering what is going on. But you try to follow. It's actually, even though the goats are rather slow, the path ahead is rather treacherous. And she actually ends up going in front of you, just because of the ability for the goats to just traverse these areas. But eventually you do clear the crevasse behind.
While you switch this, I'm just gonna say, just for, like, you know, whatever. Akron, as they're walking, will take Titania, like, will brush by Titania, will tap Titania's hand twice, which is the stay close signal that they have.
Yep.
Just subtly.
Okay.
Titania will fall back from where she is right behind the old woman to meet up with Akron.
Akron will, like, keep you, because Akron knows you want to be close, will keep you somewhat towards the front, but also close enough that if she were to, like, turn around and, like, you know, be murderous, you're not right there.
Yeah.
In front of her.
Minerva is going to use message to tell each of them she's lying about being a follower of Rian. Be careful.
Akron will put themselves between the woman and Titania. Just subtly. Just, like, walking a little bit ahead. Not, overtly blocking, but just enough that if something happens... I mean, Akron's fast enough to step in there.
Okay. And then, eventually, as you clear the crevasse behind...
Pretty mountains.
splits open to reveal this valley to you. Beautiful and isolated. And at its center, below you, another highland lake. This one, its waters are a strange hue between a clear blue and a clear green. They're rounded these breathtaking, towering white mountain peaks. For Aaron, however, this vista only fills him with conflicting thoughts and memories. she immediately turns with her mountain goats towards the east, still traveling a little bit down in the landscape, so a bit northeast into a little bit of a protected part where you have this rather rough slope behind you, so you know that there's nothing that can approach from behind. Here there is a telltale sign of a sunken fireplace, and what seems to have been there's some just some moss and grass that has been gathered and turned into a makeshift bed. Here the old woman, with a lot of complaints and with a few colorful curses, tries to jump off the goat, but her lower back is definitely complaining on her. And she immediately walks forward, not worrying about you or the agents of the church almost at all, and tries to start the fire again, humming a little tune to herself as she does. Meulen pauses for a second, a little bit confused, and then gives you all like a nod to set up camp after he has like surveyed the landscape.
After a few minutes of the old lady trying to light the fire, Aaron would just kind of make it feel like she's doing a good enough job and cast prestidigitation to start it for her.
Rather calmly, she takes a step back, looks at the fire, looks at you. Ah, well, a talented young man, aren't you? Thank you. And she kind of plops down unceremoniously on the little moss bed that she has.
Well, apologies, but I don't think we ever got your name. I suppose introductions are in order.
Apologies? Apologies? But you haven't told you mine. Or told you yours.
I did say my name was
She
Titania.
actually did.
I did actually. Out of character, I did introduce myself.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
For
one out
sake
of
of
what
repeating,
10
Titania.
is rather lackluster. But
Well, you already seem to know quite a deal about us, including what are...
I've just seen you from afar, little priestess.
Yet you know what we want and believe that we have
Yeah, but
similar
not
interests.
many people will come and visit Seda Valley now, wouldn't they? Well, you have the pleasure of meeting old Bogdana and her stalwart friend Gorkov. You don't have to worry about me.
spelling?
I'm just an old wise woman, you see, of Northern Norwood.
I don't believe that. I'd say you're probably much more.
I know you don't, and I can see it in all of these agents' eyes that are just itching towards that trigger finger, aren't you all? Well, I know how you guys operate.
Do you know?
Nobody likes not knowing.
Yes, because I have escaped you for all my life. Pretended to be something I weren't, but that's all quite alright. I am quite done with that. Well, the circumstances requires a different approach, and let me just start with saying that you need me. My help. My knowledge. And after that, well, come and get me, I say.
That was perhaps the least intelligent thing you could admit up front.
There's no need
Brave.
for what we are about to do. There's no need.
I'm not sure our friends will agree, but what exactly do you think we're about to do? And why have you been evading us your entire life?
Some things are better not said, young girl.
You literally just said it, though. Seems kind of a foolish fucking thing to say and not elaborate.
Oh, you got a smart mouth, don't you?
Only thing smart
Hush.
about me.
Oh, well, that might be the smartest things you have said today, young woman. Either way, I could not myself go and find out where this little toy Larissa has got her hands on. Because it's protected. And there are quite a few of them. I think there are, well, 6 or 7 over there. And she points towards the lake and to the other side. It's a little bit hard to see from this distance. It takes about an hour to go there, but there's a camp there, and they protect the entrance and all. And well, I do have a lot of wisdom that I have accumulated over my time, but these weary bones aren't much for the fine art of violence.
And why are we being violent?
Well, they ain't gonna share, are they?
How do you know about it?
When I knew that my Larissa has found something interesting, I had my ways of keeping an eye on her, and after I realized I had no idea what she had stumbled upon, well, I wanted to understand it before I could confront her. But I cannot, as it seems.
You can't understand it or you can't confront her.
Well, I can find out what she has in her possession. Because of the gods. Keep up. You might be a priestess of Rion, but try to act with a little bit of sense.
Is it the rock?
Is it a rock? Well, some have described it as a rock. Just a rock, though? That sounds wholly lackluster and disappointing.
I apologize. A devil rock?
Crude, but effective.
2 words that also have been used to describe me very often.
Oh, really now?
So you want us to, what, walk into the Ravenmoor's palace and be like, oh, hi, we're just here to take this, thank you, and
Oh,
what,
no, it's
fuck
not
off back here?
It's not here anymore. She has it with her in the castle. But here it was plucked, you see.
I see.
Do you? Because I don't.
We were
The artifact was
interested
here. It was taken from here, and they still have people guarding where it was taken. But now she has it in the fort.
Okay,
They
but we
are
knew that.
digging, so they might think that there's more to it. I've seen the shovels and the crates full of rocks.
There's a mining operation down here?
A minor one,
Right.
but yes.
Wait, so does this, if this rock is actually tied to a devil or a god or whatever the fuck, it doesn't matter, and you said there's 6 or 7 of them, there's not one for each, is there?
This is some wild assumptions.
I thought you said 6 or 7 guards.
I have no idea. All I heard was something 6 out of character. All I heard was
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
something
All I
6 or
heard was
7.
6 or
We're
7.
looking for something.
Yeah. Can
So
we get
yes,
clarification on that, please, Bex? Or was
yeah,
she
out of
saying that she said
character.
6 or 7?
What was it?
Wait. Who said what? When did I say what?
So we heard her say something like, "There's 6 or 7 down there." I thought she was talking about 6 or 7 guards, and that's
Oh,
why
yeah,
she
yeah,
could
people,
get
people,
closer.
About rocks.
People, not rocks.
Okay,
Yeah,
my
because-
bad. Never
so-
mind.
People.
There's 6 or
Sorry,
7 people
Akron.
down there
Yes.
where the artifact was taken out, and they're continuing to dig, suggesting that they think there's more to it.
Okay,
But she
excuse me.
can't
I
go
would
the
not have
opposite
said that.
path.
That was my bad. I thought you meant rocks. Just like there's 6 or 7. You know, they took the thing out of the valley, and there's 6 or 7 down there. I'm like,
Yeah, that would have been whoa.
okay, cool. So your hope is that we will go disrupt the mining operation.
No, I hope to kill a motherfucker or two so we can get entrance and find out what the frick is going on. For me, that, you know.
Why do you care?
It's not a... Well, not anymore. Well, it's been my whole life, but I will finally say it and let the truth set me free. I hold no love for Rian or their people. But a full war here that I do not wish. And Larissa is instigating it. The world has changed, and we must accept it. Trying to turn it now, well, that would be starting another holy war that Geno did on such proportions. It's unimaginable what kind of bloodshed that will follow. Change always does. And I don't know if this is enough to warrant, to win. It might be all for naught. Besides, I love these parts, and I love these people. A war would be terrible indeed. So Larissa needs to step the fuck down and act with
Can
some
I check
responsibility.
whether she's telling the truth about it being a war that she's afraid of? That's why she cares.
Sure, empathy, compassion.
Oof.
Well, there are many wrinkles in her face, many mysteries.
Who the fuck are you?
I'm Old Bogdana of Northern Oldwood. Are you daft? Well, you did say you were that smart. Only got a smart mouth.
Do you have a personal relationship with Larissa?
Well, yes, I was a teacher.
Her teacher.
You could have fucking led with that.
What did you
You
teach?
didn't ask the right kind of questions, now did you?
What did you teach her?
The way to listen to the forest. How to navigate it. Find the right
No
kind
magic?
of herbs for all kinds of different situations. But she wasn't happy. Well, as long as I had information to fed her, she was, but as soon as my more mundane repository of knowledge ran out, she demanded more. And I wasn't willing to give her that. Well, not all of it. It's not worth it. We're a dying breed, after all.
What breed is that?
Wise women. As you are an example of. As in, dying of it.
Did you have to escape? When you refused?
The little rascal stole things from me. Left in the middle of the night. And I thought her ambition would be her downfall. And I would never hear of her again, that she would just simply die by an assassin's blade or in a cellar of the Inquisition somewhere. But when I did hear of her again, mighty surprised as I was, she was the Baroness of Fenby. And then soon after that, Countess Ravenmore, enemy of the church. And strangely enough, no matter how much power and reach you have these days, and she points her gnarly finger at all of you, you do not manage to end her. It's quite interesting, is it not?
What did she steal from you?
some scriptures, some of my herbs, some of my equipment. And mostly she stole the last remnants of trust and hope that was left in my body.
Nothing particularly valuable or unique.
This devil artifact did not come from me, priestess.
No, that's not what I'm suggesting, but I'm suggesting she might have stolen something that allowed her to get to the position she's in now. Something that you wouldn't give her willingly.
I do not. I am wise enough to know that the church would have come and ended me a long time ago if I did have such a thing in my possession, priestess. No.
Is she lying?
Only old herbs for Bugdana. Go for it. Empathy compulsion.
And yet you insist they tried.
There's a bit of a sour look on her face, you know, so she looks a little bit bitter about the fact that she's not allowed to have whatever she wants.
I meant more like, was she lying when she said no, nothing special, like she wouldn't have any? Oh, so as in she was telling the truth, and she's actually annoyed that she could
Yes,
have
exactly.
those kinds of things. Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Okay.
And you insist the church tried to, or would have tried to, kill you. Whatever.
Oh, they come and asked in the past, you. That's how I recognized you. But old Bogdana has been a good girl. Up until now, that is. And she smiles very broadly, rather naughtily.
Why change?
Have you cotton in your ears?
There's a
Just
war
because we're here?
brewing.
I
It's because
don't
of the war.
want a war.
And why do you think getting involved is gonna stop it? What power do you think you specifically have to get in the way of this?
Well, I see a group of 10 churchgoers who are here to investigate the artifact. And I just told you that there are about 6 to 7 guards. And that I know Larissa personally. Your chances of success has increased by my meddling. You may kill me now, but I shall die happy knowing that I have tried to do my best, even if it was a hand of a filthy Rion follower.
You haven't been inside the castle, have you?
Not physically.
Do you know where she might have been keeping the artifact?
There is something in the cellar that no rat can get to. Quite interesting, is it not?
Very interesting.
See? You
Sorry,
must be
so-
quaking in your boots with anger that a heretic like I am vastly improving your chances of success on this mission to protect Brian, is it not?
Lady, you know nothing about us.
I bless his name that you have come to save us.
So, real
That's a
quick, out of
first.
character. Real fast. Is she
Yes?
suggesting that if we go down there and kill the guards, that she's going to be able to convince the woman to stand down, or that she'll be able to wield? Like, what? I missed somehow.
She doesn't have the power. She wants to understand
Okay.
what the hell is going on. She also doesn't
Alright.
want Larissa to succeed. She knows that we're powerful, but she has the knowledge that we don't have because we're going in blind to this area. So she's like, let's first hit this place, get some more information because they obviously
Okay.
value this area. And from there, she's already told me or suggested that the artifact's being kept in the cellar. So she can
Yes.
provide more
Okay,
information.
I got that
about
part.
them.
All right. I just didn't know if I had just like missed where she said what her plan with Larissa was. Okay, cool. I see what we're doing here.
I think
how
she
does
was to
Maren
kind of
look
join and
about
help
this?
along the way.
Silas is looking like, weren't we killing her already?
She's more useful than you.
I always kill her later.
Mirren is in like heavy pondering. He's like weighing options in his head of keeping. It's quite obvious for you as an agent. He's weighing keeping her alive and the knowledge that she might bring versus the risk of her escaping at the end of it.
Come on.
Sir,
It's an easy trade.
I think it's worth it for now. Maybe once we get down there, we reevaluate based on what we find.
Well, if you would allow an old woman to help, even if I got some spooky and oogie boogie devil magic on my side, then I would certainly be an asset to you.
When you said you've never been inside the castle physically, what did you mean by that?
My friends have. And she reaches out to kind of tickle her magpie friend behind the ear.
Did you see what happened to the King of Oldwood?
I was still up in my hovel when all of that went down. I kind of realized that things were going to spin out of control after that death. And so I made my way here. And here I am. It takes a bit of a while for me to travel these days. Miron narrows his eyes, leans forward a little bit, and says, "Let's see how useful you are in dealing with this violent heretics that we have below us. But you may not do anything without my permission. You may not leave my sight without my permission. And after that, well, I shall ponder some more upon your fate." And with that, we're going to end tonight's episode of Asia's Return. Woo!
Sweet.